Welcome. At secondary school, you were asked to read and answer questions about many texts. A key activity for teachers, therefore, is to teach learners how to read text. I'm sure that you can read texts very well already, but do you also know how this is done? Do you know how our brain accomplishes such a difficult task? It won't surprise you that many factors play a role. Today I'm going to introduce you to one such concept, key to understanding how texts are read. The first issue we need to consider is that reading is not just about text. Sure, there are easy texts and difficult ones, but what makes a text easy or difficult is not just about the text itself, but about the reader. Every reader brings something different to the text. Reading is essentially an interplay between the reader's knowledge and information provided by the text. Let's see how this works. I am going to show you two pictures. For each picture, I want you to very simply write down what you see. Here comes picture 1. Please write down what you see. Here comes picture 2. Now let's stop to consider which picture took you longer to identify. My guess is that you had to work quite hard to interpret what you saw in picture 1, much more than in picture 2. How does that work? In picture 1, you were very much dependent on clues you were given by the text, or in this case, by the picture. Is that an eye? Is that a nose that I see? Or an ear maybe? Is this a living thing at all? What am I actually looking at? In picture 2, that was much easier. I'm sure that all of you saw immediately that this is a dog, and those of you with a little more knowledge immediately saw that this is a Labrador dog. Here you did not depend on the picture, but on your prior knowledge. In terms of reading, and here come the key concepts, in the first picture, or identifying the first picture, you were processing the information bottom up. You used the clues from the text. In the second picture, where you were dependent on your prior knowledge of dogs, you were processing the text or the picture top down. Now reading, these two come together, bottom-up processing and top-down processing. Call that interactive processing, where we use prior topic knowledge to make sense of a new topic. In other words, if you have knowledge about this guy, then reading a text about this guy is really not so difficult. And the other way around as well. So the more knowledge we bring to a text, the easier it becomes to read it. Unfortunately, we don't all bring the same knowledge to a text. Let's illustrate this by trying to interpret jokes from the book The Bunny Suicides. And that book is about little fluffy rabbits who just don't want to live anymore. Now, they may be lame jokes. We don't necessarily like them. But for now, the question is, do we understand the joke? On each page, the bunnies try to commit suicide. And my question is, how do we know that the bunny will succeed? I have 3 examples for you. Here comes the first one. I'm sure that you realize that this bunny will indeed be successful. By now we all know that smoking kills. So stuffing every orifice with cigarettes is definitely going to get you killed. Okay, the second example. Will these bunnies succeed kill themselves? Those of you who have knowledge of the story of Noah's Ark from the Bible will have interpreted this correctly. Those of you who lack that knowledge might have had difficulties understanding why these two bunnies were going to get themselves killed. The last one shows this even more specifically. What is going on in this picture? Only those of you who have seen the film Fatal Attraction will understand that this bunny will be successful in killing itself. Now, we have just seen that understanding these jokes depends on how much prior knowledge we have about a specific topic. As a final activity, let's apply this to real texts now. I am going to show you two short texts. My question is, what is the topic of each text? Here comes text 1. My guess is that those of you with a Dutch background will have immediately spotted that this is about Sinterklaas. There is a carrot, there is a boot, and there are presents. Those of you with a non-Dutch background might have struggled a bit here. Let's look at text 2. This time, those of you with a Dutch background might have struggled a lot. Those of you with an English or Brit background might not have struggled at all. Here we have fireworks, treacle toffee, bonfire, and a guy, very clearly hinting at Guy Fawkes Day. But if you don't know what Guy Fawkes Day is, it's very difficult to understand what the text is about. Both texts are equally difficult in terms of language. But what we see then is that prior knowledge is key in reading text. So, to sum up, looked at is the difference between bottom-up processing, where we mainly depend on clues from the text, top-down processing, where we mainly depend on prior knowledge that we bring to the text, and interactive processing. Use your prior knowledge to make sense of new knowledge.